Howdy folks, this is Saturday morning for me, and today's soap is going to be brought to us by Wild West Shaving, and the name of this one here is Rose Dunn. Same profile, we got wild rose, coconut, and amber, and I guess you might say that's what it looks like on the inside there, but amber, definitely pick up the amber and some rose. This one here, don't let the rose mislead you on the scent. Got the island block, no rubber band this morning. Going to be using the Black Ice Witch Hazel that's mentholated, and going to be using Yulay Petals de Rose Aftershave. And off camera, I'm going to be using the Shaven Sailor beard oil. I've got it whipped up in a wooden bowl here. Cherry walnut. It's got grooves in the center. You probably can't see a whole lot of that. Got it whipped up here with a brush from Maggard Razors. This one here is the bronze handle. I think it's like a 22mm knot. Got it whipped up just not exactly wet, a little bit past that. Pretty nice though. The shaver of the day. This one here probably stirred up quite a few conversations. This is the, I think as you pronounce it, Parthenon, the adjustable twist open. It's got a magnet at the bottom to help pick up the razors when it's on the counter. This one here, it's for me, it's a fairly it's a fairly aggressive adjustable razor. The blade I have in it is a Personna. Kind of sporting Personna blades in the past few weeks, huh? Well, this one here is a DE blade though, and at any rate, this one here I'm going to start out with setting 5, and I'll go to 4, and then 3. I'll go ahead and work my way down, and see how that works out for me. It's been a while since I've used this one here, but I know last time when I was running through its paces, it was it's a pretty aggressive shaver. We'll see if things changed any since last time I used it, and that may be my technique using it today might be different. We'll see. I've got a link. You can get this. There's a link that goes to the Kickstarter page, and you can also find this through Amazon if you want to go that direction. It's offered in 2 different places, and both of them, well, Amazon's $49.99, and go to the Kickstarter page. There's options there that you can go through in order. In other words, you can get one that's got a black handle, and you can look through there. You see there's options if you decide to order one of these. When I ordered mine, got that razor along with 50 feather blades, and to me it is well worth the money. It was $49.99. I don't know if you're still going to get feather blades as opposed to Preshave branded blades. And yes, this particular shaver was a collaboration in between Weishi and Preshave. Overall, as it goes for how the razor is made, I don't have any, real issues outside the fact that you would expect that the way I remember it, even on your lower settings 1, 2, and 3, it still had quite a bit of blade feel. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's what the blade looks like. It might get washed out from the light, but there's not a whole lot of the blade sticking out. It's, how can you say, how it's coming out is probably more of the, there's not a whole lot of curvature to that blade. So in other words, it may take you a few shades to figure out what angle is going to work best for you. And probably, judging by this, if you work out about that angle right there, it's a little bit smoother. But if you don't adjust your angle, it's going to be pretty aggressive. I think that might be part of the reason why the blade feels the way that it does. Is if you don't angle it differently than maybe what you're used to, that the blade feel is going to be a lot different than what you think it's going to be. But once you adjust that angle, find the angle that works best for this shaver, I guess you might say your shaves will improve. I will have to say though, it's not clog proof. I'm a daily shaver, so I don't have quite that issue with the whiskers getting built up in there, but it doesn't, you can just kind of see right there, most of your lather is going to build up and come down. It's not actually going to work through underneath the blade and come out the other way, like maybe a Parker variant or a Mercer Progress, where you get the big channels underneath that blade. This, I think this handle's about 4 inches in length. It might be 4.5. It does have a little bit of weight to it, and the bulk of your weight is going to be in the head. Just wiped off some of the shaving cream. When I first opened the lid on this soap, I could definitely pick up the amber. It was like, yep, there's definitely amber in this one. Yeah, if you adjust your angle, it'll help smooth out some of the shave. This angle is not what I would consider typical in comparison to most of my other shavers that are DEs. Even with this being an adjustable, not too sure that I would recommend it for somebody just starting out. Might want to experience a little bit first, because like I said, you're going to have to figure out how to adjust your angle, because it will be pretty aggressive if you don't. Alright, we'll go ahead and adjust this from 5 to 4. See how it feels after the first shave. The way I remember this is pretty efficient too. If you're a 2-pass shaver, yeah, because I mean, there's got that normal strip right through there, but there's not a whole lot left. Definitely one of those kind of shavers if you're in a hurry. That was a setting 5 of Personna, but if you're in a hurry, you could probably get by with setting it in either at setting 5 that I started with, or even higher, and do a 1-pass shave with the grain. And by the time you get done with that 1 pass, there's not going to be a whole lot left on the higher setting. That's one thing I do remember about the shaver. On those higher settings, it was very efficient. You can, in other words, achieve a BBS without putting out a whole lot of effort. Probably a 2-pass would have been pretty easier, or a 1-pass and pickups if you want to look at it like that. Yeah, I think that the more that I get thinking about it from the last time I shaved with it, and the way the shave's going right now, you definitely want to pay attention to your angle. That's how you can, take some of the bite off of the blade. So it doesn't look like, and it may be kind of hard to see on the video, that the blade doesn't have much curvature to it. And that might be the reason why there's such blade feel for it. Just in between the settings 5 and 4, 4 does feel quite a bit different. On a different note, we had some weather roll through here last night. Last night was the championship game between Broken Arrow and Jinx, and fourth quarter it was delayed due to weather, which I'm kind of surprised it made it that far into the game without being delayed. There was tornado watches of tornado warnings rolling out just right and left last night. They did manage to finish the game. I didn't go to the game. I was busy doing all kinds of other stuff, but from what I could see looking online, what little information I could find on this website I was looking at, which is mainly for the score, Broken Arrow finally pulled it out, 128-20. But that's believe it or not, that was the first time Broken Arrow has won the championship, for football, so that was pretty nice. Finally get one under the belt. I think that if I remember right, the way I remember the conversation going, Jinx had won 16, I think, or something like that. So, Jinx, I guess you might say, Jinx and Union school districts around here have a pretty good reputation when it comes to football, as well as Owasso. And then you got Broken Arrow, and Broken Arrow being, I think, the largest high school in this area. So it's with the band doing as well as it is now, the football team and various other activities with the school, it's kind of nice to see it all come together for them. This is good stuff. So, like I say, you can see I kind of whipped it up. It's a little bit on the, not real wet, but it does lean that way, yogurt style lather, and it probably works best for this shaver. Alright, so I had that one on setting 4. I'm going to put this one on setting 3. And that's another thing too, when you look at the website, their Kickstarter, they'll break it down for you where the settings are at, which is pretty typical. It's nothing that we didn't already expect if you're familiar with the DE shaver. Your lower settings will be your, I guess you might say, your more gentle settings. Yeah, this one here is going a lot better since I adjusted my angle with it. I know last time it was, even on the lower settings, it was pretty aggressive. And I think that's before I gave it a whole lot of thought about the blade angle. That it's not got a whole lot of curvature, and it does have a little bit when it comes out, but which is, for me, it's also kind of hard to see with my eyes. But that blade, when it comes out, it has a tendency to stick more straight than curved. I did notice on Amazon, I think the reviews were kind of limited. Like I said, I don't know. Like I say, if you shave every 2 or 3 days and you got quite a bit of beard growth, I'm not too sure this would work out for you, because you can kind of see. I don't know that whiskers that are 2 or 3 days, what that would do to your growth. I mean, that growth would do to the blade gap you got right there. And you can kind of tell through there, there's not a channel underneath it to help move the lather on through along with the whiskers or anything like that. It's that is it. So in other words, most of it's going to end up underneath. And if you get whiskers that are building up underneath your blade, you're going to have to rinse it out quite a bit more often than maybe if you was using a Parker variant or a Mercury Progress or a Future. And I do have the Q Shave that's a clone of the Mercury Future. That's Tomorrow Shave. And that one there, I have to say, quite impressed with that one. It's a you can usually find it without a stand for right about 20 bucks. I got mine cheaper than that. I got it a while back. Back in the beginning, you could find them as low as somewhere in the neighborhood of like around 7 bucks. Now, some folks had ran afoul. In other words, they didn't, excuse me, get a razor that maybe quality control kind of missed a thing or two. And see if I can't catch that part right through there. But mine works just fine. I haven't had any issues with it. And since I have the facial hair here, I don't have to worry about the size of that head trying to get up underneath my nose. So that would be one thing to take note, is that it's just like the Future. It's got a good size head on it. I think the way I remember some folks doing a comparison in between the Future and the Q-Shave version is the weight. That's one noticeable difference in between the two. I don't have a Merkur Future. There's part of me that wants to get one day, especially for the comparison. And not only that, since the weight difference, I do like the heavier razors, because that is one thing nice. But a heavier razor is that you just let the weight of the razor, the shaver, and the sharpness of the blade or the razor, let it do the work for you. I have to say, from the first time I used this, and now revisiting it, I think I can get much better, easier going shaves than what I did the first go around with it. Now that I took a moment and set it aside for a good long moment, and then this morning after I picked it up and got to thinking about why is this adjustable so aggressive, and then paid more attention to how that blade was coming out, the light bulb finally came on. The reason why is because that blade has a tendency to stick more out than curving down. This is a pretty smooth shave. I say it went a lot better than the first go around. I still don't think I would, if you're a beginner, you definitely want to pay attention to that angle if you're going to get one of these. Can't complain about too much about the channels underneath the blade. That would be I guess you might say, a preferred way of handling 2 or 3 day growth of hair. But if you're a daily shaver like me, it's more or less a non-issue. The twist to open seems to work pretty good. There's the blade right there. It's a smooth action. The handle's a little bit longer. In other words, it's not a short handle. The balance point is pretty close to being right about there. It does have a little bit of weight to it. There is a weight at the head, but there is still weight throughout the handle. It doesn't feel like it's a cheaply made razor by any means. And I do like the idea of having the magnet in the end, so that you can just pick up a blade, from the razor. That way you're not trying to slide it off your counter or trying to pick it up and the blade slips or whatever the case might be. In other words, it helps reduce the risk of getting a cut. The dial here is it's got knurling. The knurling is not so rough that it's, how you say, it's pointy. It's rounded at on the peaks, so it's not rough on the hand, but there's enough there where you can grab a hold of it. This one here, on your Gillette adjustables, it's recommended that you open it up just a tad bit and then adjust your dial. This one here is not necessarily to do something like that. You can adjust it with it closed, and that might be a plus for somebody that's a little irritated or find that on the Gillette adjustables that you're supposed to open it up a little bit, so that way you're not working against it. Outside that, everything works as expected. It's not a bad shaver. I'm alright with it. It's just a bit of a learning curve once I figured out how that blade was working or not working, depending on how you want to look at it. I guess that might be something in a way of an improvement, is the blade have it more curved instead of sticking so far more of a straight out type situation. You have to adjust your angle, in other words. Adjusting the angle is going to be the trick on that shaver. And I think I was trying to treat it like I do, like the angle is with most other DE shavers. And this one here, I think you need to adjust a little bit more to help smooth out the aggressiveness on your lower settings that you're expected to get. You know, you're expected to get a not quite the blade feel on your lower settings. I remember when I was first using it, Lord, I mean, that blade feel was pretty tough even on the lower settings. And that's because of the angle that I was using. A little late to figure that out now, huh? After shaving with it for about a week. Kind of feel everything working on my face. Feels pretty good. I like the menthol. Menthol works well for me. This aftershave by Yulay, it's I guess you might say witch hazel based. It does not have alcohol in it. And if you have any experience with her aftershaves, you always have to shake them up. For some people that might put them off. For me, it's no big deal. This one here is this is my first rose scented product, as goes for soap and or aftershave. And this one here does not have amber in it or anything like that, so you're definitely going to get far more of the rose scent out of this aftershave. And I like it. But like most other aftershaves, when you first pour it out, put it on the face, the scent's definitely going to be there. But give it a moment on the dry down and it'll calm down, and it's, I guess you might say, not quite in your face. Not that it is right now, but it's definitely noticeable when I first put it on. I like Yulay's aftershaves though. They work well for me. Once again, this is Q-Shave, We-She collaboration. I think it's pronounced Parthenon. I'll have a link for the website down below, that way you can check it all out. If you prefer one that has black through here instead of the, I guess you might call it silver. As it goes for the grip, I usually put my little finger on the bottom so it helps with the control, so I don't have any problems with the grip. And I don't know that I'd have problems with the grip even if I was holding further up here on the handle. For me, as it goes for the fit and finish, it's pretty nice. Figured the 50 blades I got, feather blades, and kind of split the difference. $25 for the blades, $25 for the razor. Got a good buy. And you still get it for $49.99. In other words, $50. So it's pretty decent. Can't complain too much about it. At least now that I've figured out how to get the angle right. I had a great shave today. Hope everybody's doing well. Smooth shaves to you.